words, I would like to remember with gratitude the TUSAŞ corporate manager and communications director, Serdar Demir, whom we lost 2 months ago, unfortunately due to an unfortunate accident. He indeed was a young brother to us who contributed to his country tremendously. During his past, he contributed to the corporate advancement of Turkish aerospace industries and also many undertakings Turkey have had. I once again pray for the mercy of God on his soul and also convey my condolences to his family and his colleagues at TUSAŞ. Distinguished guests for our nation, the combat industry indeed goes back 2 centuries ago and is not a new term to our people. For example, the double-curved bows were created, constructed even before Christ, and many unique works and products, first of their kind, were produced during Selçuk Empire and many other Turkic empires. The Ottoman Empire as well established many institutions such as the Imperial Navy and also the artillery building houses. Many artilleries, ships, and military instruments were produced by the Ottomans and also exported. During the first years of the Republic, in the development movement started with veteran Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, our industry indeed had a great role. Veci Hürkuş, Nuri Demirağ, and Nuri Killigil Şakir Zümre, like entrepreneurs, had many personal efforts. However, the efforts were blocked away due to some internal and external interventions, and the facilities established for machinery manufacturing were not allowed to function, and our defense industry, almost to the full extent, was rendered foreign dependent. During the Cyprus peace operation, certain threats took start and blockage or embargoes then followed. And this again showed very clearly that we needed our own defense industry. With the support and kindness of our people, and through the foundations established to strengthen our Turkish armed forces, Aselsan, TUSAŞ, Havelsan, and Roketsan, like foundations and institutions, were the results of such initiatives. And during the late Özal's period, Undersecretary for Defense Industry was established to support the defense industry of our country. Along with the local production and manufacturing, offset methodology was adopted for international projects and cooperation. When we took office, we said nothing will be the same again, and we started taking steps ahead. Being self-sufficient, without the need of anyone else, our country has used all means and mobilized them to be self-sufficient and also reach out to the sisterly countries. 2004 May meeting of defense industry was an initiative to stop foreign supply and also prioritize the self-sufficient and domestically produced materials. The Turkish defense industry and its affiliated defense industry DG of the presidency continues working with universities, many research centers, and also with all the initiatives and export it has undertaken. It has become one of the leading industries of our country. The number of the defense industry projects was only 62 when we took office. However, today it has exceeded even 756, and the number of the companies operating in that field increased from 56 to 1,500. The budget of industry projects, defense industry projects, was only 5.7 billion, while it increased to 75 billion. And the turnover of this sector increased from 1 billion to 10 billion, and our export from 248 to
Kara ve deniz araçlarında sadece kendimizin değil, dost
300 billion, and in more than 300 billion. And in our industry, we are not only meeting our own needs, but also the needs of many other countries. We are among the top 10 countries that is manufacturing its own aerial, naval, and territorial vehicles. And in terms of unmanned aerial vehicles and also unmanned armed vehicles, we are among the top 3 of the world, despite all the challenges created by some countries and also some sabotage created within and outside the country, and also many hidden actions we are leading. For example, we asked for unmanned aerial vehicles, but they did not supply it to us, and that's why we produced Akıncı and Barka and many other aerial vehicles. And we asked for ammunition, but they did not supply, and we produced our own. We asked for missiles, and they did not supply, and then we manufactured Bora, Atmaca, and Bozdoğan. We asked for air defense systems, and they did not supply. And then in the first stage, we had it supplied, outsourced, but now we have built Siper, and we will be soon completing many more projects to come. When it comes to the camera systems used in unmanned aerial vehicles, they placed embargoes, and they thought that we were not going to be able to use those drones, and we built our own. For our anti-terrorism operations within our borders, and also for our cross-border peace operations, and for all of them to be successfully launched and achieved, we have built our own, and we raised the bar even higher and prepare our country for the battle, for the combat environment of the future. By investing more in our research and development, we are one by one materializing systems that demand high technology, from the sea platforms to war management systems, from unmanned vehicles to artificial intelligence, from electromagnetic systems to laser weapons, from satellites to space systems. In defense industry, we are present in all fields that we need. Distinguished guests, for the aerospace and space fields of our country, TUSAŞ, the Turkish aerospace industries, with its products developed, indeed supply many systems for our country and also for many countries that are at reach. The new Phase 2 version manufactured for the attacking helicopter is one of the most important vehicles of our counter-terrorism activities, and these were supplied to the law enforcement of our country. The upper version of that, the heavy class combat offensive vehicle manufacturing, is ongoing. These were produced and developed with the through efforts of our own engineers and employees. And our first helicopter, Gökbey, will start to be delivered as of this year. Aksungur armed unmanned aerial vehicles are already on the skies. Bayraktar TB2 and Akıncı aerial combat vehicles diversified our products as well as have strengthened our position in the world. The biggest expectation we have from Turkish aerospace industries to such is for them to bring us to a level where we would be competing with the rest of the world. When it comes to the deliveries of the Hürkuş aircrafts, the Hürjet training jet development processes are still ongoing. And now we have our national combat aircraft for which we have gathered. The national combat aircraft project will hopefully be the very heart, the core of our defense industry. 2,300 engineers are now working at this center, which is equipped with the state-of-art technologies. Our national combat aircraft in 2023 will leave the hangar and will be displayed for the whole world, hopefully. My dear brothers and sisters, its first flight will be operated before long, and we plan to have it operated as soon as possible, and we are very rapidly working on that. The national combat aircraft, which will fly for the first time in 2023 after testing and quality control checks, will be in the skies in 2029. While developing the aircraft, its subsystems, components, and materials will also be produced, manufactured locally, and the due preparations are underway for it. Composite materials which are very important for the aerospace industry will be produced at our composite production facility, which will come operational today. The fourth biggest composite production facility of the world will be having a capacity to meet the 2% of the world need, the pieces of the aircrafts and vehicles, and their maintenance, refurbishment, and repairing center will also be inaugurated today. More than 500 engineers will be working here, and we will be meeting a very important need of the industry. With the facilities we inaugurate and now, the engineers who will be working here, in a sense, will be our great investments for our future. Compensating for the delays we had in the past very rapidly, our country will claim its position in the League of the Giants, and the space technologies is a field we aim high for that end. The space program ran by the ministry and the industries of the sector, operators of the sector. Our defense industry companies will be the pioneers. The micro-missile launching program of Rocket Sun
uzay sınırını
also
aşarak uzaya
went over
erişen
the
ilk
space
Türk aracı oldu.
limits and became
Aynı
the first
roketin hibrit
Turkish
yakıtlı
vehicle
versiyonunu çalışan
with
Delta V
solid and
firmasının
liquid
roketi de
fuel. And
uçuş
Delta
testini başarıyla
company's
gerçekleştirdi.
hybrid vehicle
Halihazırda
also went
uzayda
through the
4'ü
flight
haberleşme,
tests very
3'ü de
successfully.
gözlem
In
olmak
the
üzere
space of
7 uydumuz
3
görev yapıyor.
observation and 4
İlk defa
communication
yerli ve
satellites
milli
are currently
unsurların
operating.
katkısıyla yapılan
For the first time, with the
TürkSat
contribution
5
of
b
local
uydumuzun
and domestic
uzaydaki yolculuğu
elements,
devam
TurkSat
ediyor. Tamamı
5B
yerli
still
ve
travels
milli
in the space,
uydumuz
are
TürkSat
totally
6A ile
local
farklı
and
ihtiyaçlara cevap
domestic
verecek birçok
TurkSat
uydu projesinin yürütüldüğü
6A
ülkemiz
and
uzay
many other
çalışmalarının
projects
tatmin
that will be
niteliğindeki
meeting the needs
TUSAŞ'ın
of our
bu alandaki
country
yatırımlarını
will
artırıyoruz.
be
Hala
expanded in scope
faaliyet gösteren
and in
uzay
number for
sistemleri
investments. The
entegrasyon
currently
ve
operating
test
space
merkezine
systems
destek güç olacak
will
yeni bir
support
merkezi
the
de devreye
integration and
sokuyoruz.
test
Bugün
systems, and
açılışını
this
yapacağımız
center
ve
will
700'den fazla
become
mühendisimizin
operational
görev
and will be
yapacağı uzay
commissioned soon.
sistemleri
The Space
mühendislik
Systems
merkezimiz
Engineering Center,
ülkemizin
where
uzay
many
yolculuğuna çok
representatives of the
önemli
field
katkı
will
sunacak.
work, will
Değerli
contribute
arkadaşlar,
to the space travel of
Ankara
our country to a great
savunma ve
extent.
havacılık
Dear
sektörümüzün
guests,
can
Ankara
damarı haline gelmiştir.
has become the main
Başbakanlığım
artery of
döneminde
our defense and
başkentimizin
space
dünyanın en
industry.
önemli
Um,
savunma sanayi
as I was serving the
merkezlerinden
Prime
biri
Minister of the country,
yapacağımızı
we
söylemiştim.
made promises
Bu
that we
sözümüzü yerine getirelim.
had aimed
Ülkemizin ilk savunma
to
sanayi
turn Ankara
ihtisas
into a
organize
hub
sanayi
of
bölgesini
such
Ankara'da kurduk.
technologies, and we delivered on
Ankara
our
Uzay ve Havacılık
promises
İhtisas
and
Organize
established the
Sanayi
first center
Bölgemizi
for that
kısa adıyla
purpose in
hub'ı
Ankara. With
TUSAŞ'ın
its acronym,
hemen
HUB
yanındaki
is located right
730
next
hektarlık
to
bir alanda
TUSAŞ premises
faaliyete geçirdik.
on an area of
HUB ile
more than
uzay ve
700
havacılık alanlarında
acres of area.
kendi sanayimizi
And
desteklemeyi, yerli ve
with this,
yabancı
we will
firmaları bir
continue
araya
supporting
getirerek
our local
sinerji sağlamayı,
sector
yüksek katma
and
değerli
bring
ürünler
local
üretip
and international
ihracat
companies
yapmayı
together to create
hedefliyoruz.
synergy and
Yatırımcılarımız
produce added
buraya
value products
beklediğimiz
for our
ilgiyi
own country
gösterdi.
and for the whole world. And our
Arsa
investors
tahsisleri
have shown
neredeyse
the
tamamı doldu.
expected interest
Yatırımlar da başladı.
to that
Halihazırda
initiative.
hub'da
And investments
sanayi
have
şubemiz
already
tarafından
taken start.
yatırımı tamamlanmış
And at
18
the
tesis,
hub, there are
yatırımı devam
currently
eden
18
57
facilities,
tesis bulunuyor.
the investments
İnşası
of which
tamamlanan
have been
16
complete,
tesisimizin
and there are
de
many other
organize
projects
sanayi bölgesi
undergoing.
yönetim binamızı da
Ongoing, and
bugün
our
hizmete açıyoruz.
administrative building
Tüm yatırımlar
also will be
tamamlandığında
inaugurated
150'si
officially
sanayi
today.
kuruluşu olmak
When
üzere
all investments are
300
complete,
işletmeye ev
300
sahipliği yapacak
enterprises
hub'ın
will
istihdama
be located
katkısı
at the hub,
15
and its
bin
contribution
kişiye
to the
ulaşacak.
employment will be around 15,000 jobs.
Firmaların araştırma
The
geliştirme
companies'
çalışmalarını yürüteceği
research and
Tekno Hub
development
teknoloji
studies
geliştirme
will be
bölgesinin
at
kuruluş
the
çalışmaları da
Techno Hub
aynı alanda
Technology
sürüyor.
Development
Tekno Hub'ın
Center,
birçok
and
ulusal
many
ve
initiatives are
uluslararası
underway
şirketi,
for that.
önemli
Techno
araştırma
Hub will be a
kurumlarını,
place for many
teknoloji
national and
devlerini
international companies, many research
bölgeye
companies, and also
çekeceğine
technology
inanıyorum.
giants, and I
Burada
believe that it will be attracting
bölgedeki
all relevant
üniversitelerin,
parties to the region.
ilgili kurum ve
The
kuruluşların da desteğiyle
universities of the
yeni ve
region,
ileri
as
teknoloji
well as
geliştirip üretmek
relevant
isteyenlere çok
authorities
özel
and
imkanlar
institutions,
sunulacak.
will be
Görüldüğü
offered
gibi
with very
tüm unsurların
special
savunma
benefits
sanayini
and
her
opportunities.
zaman ayrı bir
As
yere
seen,
koyuyoruz.
we place the defense
Mehmetçiğimizin,
industry to a very
polisimizin,
peculiar place.
jandarmamızın,
Our
yurt
soldiers,
içi
our
ve
gendarmerie,
sınır
our
ötesi
police officers,
operasyonlarında
law enforcement
kullandığı
bodies,
silahları
and military
kimseye muhtaç
will
olmadan
be
geliştirmek
using
ve
the
üretmek için
weapons they
bu
use
alana
within our
milli
borders and
hassasiyetlerle
across our
eğiliyoruz.
borders with the means
Savunma
we
sanayini
have
her
at
zaman
hand in our
siyaset üstü bir
country.
alan olarak
And the
gördük.
defense industry has
Ancak
always been an
zaman
area
zaman
that is
özellikle
beyond
son dönemde
politics.
dozu artan bir
However,
şekilde
recently
bu
we
konudaki
have
çarpıtma
been
ve
seeing
yalan
some
kampanyalarının
manipulations and
kimi
campaigns
zaman
of lies,
iftira derecesine
some of which
varacak
that
ölçüde
go
artırıldığını
go out of
Arifiye'deki Tank
acceptable
Kaleti fabrikası ile
dosage, if you
ilgili
will.
söylenen yalanları
The lies about
yüzleriyle
Arifie
vurmaktan
facility
bıktık.
indeed
Ama
were
onlar
exposed
aynı
many times,
yalanları
and we are
tekrarlamaktan
now tired
bıkmadı.
of throwing
Son olarak
their own
bir
lies to
milli
their
savunma
faces.
sanayi
But
şirketimizin
those people have not
küresel
uh,
ülkelere
been
satıldığı yalanını
fed up
dolaşıma
with
soktular. Bu
repeating the
haberi
same lies.
ilgili
And
kuruluşlar
now they
başta olmak
lied
üzere
that an
herkes
international
yalanlamasına rağmen
company stepped in rather than our
tezvirata
own.
devam ediyor.
Even though we
Tabii biz bu
proven that
yalanların
wrong,
amacının
these
söz
people
konusu savunma
continue
sanayi
lying.
kuruluşlarımıza sahip
And we
çıkmak
know
değil.
that the goal
Tam
of such
tersine
lies is
ülkemizin
not
savunma
to
sanayi
own up
hamlelerini
to the movements
baltalamak
of our
olduğunu biliyoruz.
country or in
Buradan
defense industry. On
tüm
the other hand, the
yalancılara,
aim is
sahtekarlara
actually
sesleniyorum.
to harm
Biz
our defense
ülkemize ve
industry.
milletimize
I
hizmet
now make a
etmekten
call on
asla
those
yorulmayacağız.
hypocrites and
Ama
liars.
siz bir gün
We will
mutlaka
never be tired
yalanlarınızla
of serving our
boğulacaksınız.
nation, but one day you absolutely will drown
İşte
in
buradan bir
your
kez
own
daha ilan
lies.
ediyorum. Savunma
And now I
sanayinde
declare
artık
hereby,
daha planlı,
in defense
daha
industry we
sistematik
will be more
ve
planned,
orta
more
uzun vadeli
systematic, and
hareket
also
edeceğimiz
acting
bir
in a
döneme
much
giriyoruz.
solid mid
Gençler,
and long-term
mühendislerimiz,
perspective. Our dear
kızlı
youth, our
erkekli burada.
engineers, all of them, boys and
Hepsi
girls, are here
adeta
with us.
7/24
And all of them
çalışıyor.
do work 24/7.
Bu ülke
For what? For
savunma
this
sanayinde
country,
adeta erişilemez
so that
hale
this
gelsin.
country becomes unreachable in defense industry.
Kendi üretebileceğimiz ürünlerin yurt dışından
The products we
tedarikini
can
rıza
produce, we
göstermiyoruz.
can manufacture on our own,
Elimizdeki
will be
sınırlı
produced
kaynağı
within our
kendi
borders, and we
savunma
will never
sanayimizi
consent
geliştirmek
for their
ve
production
güçlendirmek için
abroad. To further
kullanmak
strengthen
asıl
our own defense
önceliğimiz
industry,
olmaya devam edecek.
usability will
Kamu ve
be
özel şirketleriyle bu
our
konuda savunma
priority.
sanayi sektöründen
The public and
daha fazla
private
gayret, daha
companies
verimli
will
çalışma,
cooperate,
daha hızlı
and we
sonuç
expect
beklediğimi zaten biliyorsunuz.
more efforts, more
Geldiğimiz
effective
seviye
work,
elbette
and
önemlidir.
faster
Ama
outcomes,
kesinlikle
as you all know.
yeterli değildir.
The level, the
Çok daha
mileage we
iyisini
have
yapmak,
now
çok daha ileri
covered
seviyelere ulaşmak için
is sufficient,
sektörü daha
is
çok çalışmaya,
pleasing. However, it's
daha
not
çok
still
ürün ortaya
sufficient.
koymaya,
And
daha
that's
çok
why I make a
küresel
call on the
başarılar
sector to work
sergilemeye
even harder
davet
to
ediyorum.
produce more products and
Kurumlarımız
to show
arasındaki
more
işbirliğinin
global success.
uyumu,
The cooperation,
paylaşımı geliştirerek
harmony, and
savunma
sharing among
sanayindeki
our
hedeflerimize
institutions and
en kısa
companies
sürede
should be
ulaşacağımıza
further strengthened,
yürekten
and I
inanıyorum.
firmly believe that we
Cumhurbaşkanı
will
olarak
be attaining our
savunma
goals in the
sektörüne
defense industry
bugüne kadar olduğu
before
gibi
long. As the
bundan sonra da
president
en
of the
güçlü
country,
şekilde destek
I
vermeyi
will
sürdüreceğim.
continue supporting the defense
Açılışını
industry
yapacağımız
in the future
Milli
as I
Muharip
have done
Uçak Mühendislik Merkezimizin
so far. The
kompozit imalat tesisi,
composite production
uzay
facility,
sistemleri
the
mühendislik
Space
merkezimizin
Systems
depo
Engineering
seviyesi
Center,
bakım ve
the
onarım
warehouse,
merkezimizin savunma sanayimize ve
maintenance and
ülkemize
repairing
hayırlı
center,
olmasını
and
diliyorum.
our national combat aircraft will be auspicious,
Yatırım
hopefully,
bedeli 700
for
milyon
our
liraya geçen
country and for our people.
tesislerimizde
These
yaklaşık
facilities have a
5.000
cost of
personelle
investment that
yürütülecek
exceeds
projeler
700
inşallah
million, and
TUSAŞ'ın
the
ve
projects
savunma
that will
sanayimizin
be carried
gücüne
out with
güç
around
katacak.
5,000
Ankara Uzay
staff
ve
will bring
Havacılık
about further
İhtisas
strength to
Organize
the
Sanayi
strength
Bölgemizde
of TUSAŞ
üretime başlayan
in our
firmalarımıza da
organized industrial
yatırımlarının hayırlı
zone
olmasını
and
temenni
many
ediyorum.
other centers.
Tüm bu
Many
yatırımları
companies have
ülkemize
started
kazandıran
already their
kurumlarımızı,
operations, and I congratulate
firmalarımızı,
them and wish them the
mühendisinden
best. And I
işçisine
congratulate all the
herkesi tebrik
companies,
ediyorum.
all the way from
Sizleri bir
the
kez daha
engineers to
sevgiyle,
the workers,
saygıyla
and
selamlıyorum.
congratulate them wholeheartedly. Extend my special thanks to each and every one of them. Thank you very much. Stay in health.
Saygılarımızı arz ediyoruz ve Zaltı devletlerini bir müddet daha sahnede misafir etmek istiyoruz. Günün anısına hediye takdimi, sonrasında da toplu açılış törenimiz için efendim. Efendim şimdi günün anısına hediyelerini arz etmek üzere TUSAŞ Genel Müdürümüz Sayın Temel Kotili, TUSAŞ Yönetim Kurulu Başkanımız Sayın Rafet Bozdoğan'ı, Savunma Sanayi Başkanımızı ve Milli Savunma Bakanımızı tekrar sahneye davet ediyoruz. Buyursunlar lütfen. Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımız, hemen bizler de hediyemizin muhtevasından bahsedelim. Bu eser geleceğimizin teminatı, tam bağımsız savunma sanayimizin en önemli projelerinden olan gözbebeğimiz